What's going on, everyone? This is DC Picks. I'm going to give you the best bets for UFC Abu Dhabi. We got Umar Nurmagomedov taking on Cory Sandhagen. Sorry if I sound a bit nasally. I am quite sick at the moment, so bear with me for the next 10 minutes or so. Like always, I'm going to give you a safety parlay. I'm going to give you some straight and prop bets, and I'm also going to give you some nibbles or sprinkles that you can chuck on $5 to $10 and hopefully get a large reward for a small fee. Before we begin, let's quickly go over the recap if you didn't see in the prediction video. We once again hit our safety parlays, so that makes it 6 out of 7 safety parlays we have hit since the inauguration of it on this channel. I mean, that was pretty sweat-free safety parlay, besides maybe the wood leg, but even that wasn't really that close. So yeah, we hit that one pretty sweat-free. Then for our straights and props, we should have hit that wood KO sub. I don't know how that didn't hit. And then, we've got the Patterson sub and the Aspinall rounds 1 or 2. And then for the nibbles, what I'm really disappointed with is the Modestus KO3. I just didn't look at it properly, guys, and that's my fault. The KO3 and the round 3 were the exact same odds, and I just didn't play in round 3. I should have, I just didn't think of the sub happening because he's never gotten a sub in his career. But, it's the first time for everything, and I should have just been a bit more careful on that one, and we could have hit a large plus 1600. But without further ado, let's get on to this week's betting slips. So our safety parlay for the week, it mixes up a bit of the, I believe it's the PFL, and the UFC. So the reason why I've put in the Alexi Pegrande fight leg or piece in the parlay is simply because on my sportsbook, if you put 3 or more parlays, you actually get a boost to your odds, and that's why I've done so. But other than that, you can just chuck on the Azmat and the Umar legs if you don't want to do that. But I have, because he's just kind of like a safe leg to put in. He's a very good wrestler grappler. He's definitely a prospect. His opponent's forward too against horrible competition. Alexi, he's gone 3 rounds before, so you can assure that his gas tank is not like one of these round 1 or bust prospects that you see all the time. And yeah, it's just a definite leg that you can just add on, get a bit more plus money on your betting slip. Next one is Azmat to win, just straight up, his Azmat money line. And yeah, I've just been going, further research into this. I just don't really rate Menifield at all. He's just got such a low fight IQ, excuse me. You've seen it so many times. The Jimmy Croup fight, the Olberg fight, the William Knight fight, all those fights, he has just made it worse for himself. He's a very low output fighter that relies on those big moments to win the fight, really. I mean, in the Jacoby fight, he was getting pieced up the whole fight, but he won 3 knockdowns in each of the rounds. And Jacoby is definitely more chinny than Azmat. Azmat's never been really hurt or anything like that. He's undefeated for a reason, and he's definitely the more technical striker of the two. I think he's the faster striker of the two. I think he's got the better chin, and I actually think he's going to KO Menifield. So I like Azmat here to at least bag the first 2 rounds, if not find that KO in the first 2 rounds. Now, I understand if you've watched the prediction video, I said that the Umar and Cory Sandhagen fight is very close, and yes, it is very close. And I picked Umar as a low confidence pick. Yes, you're completely correct, completely right. So why have I put him in this parlay? Well, first of all, because I don't really like any of the legs in the other fights. But most importantly, we just got no reason to doubt Umar. I mean, it's in his backyard. It's in Abu Dhabi. He's undefeated. We've never seen a blemish from him besides his last fight where he got hit at the back of the temple, which knocks out most fighters, and he recovered in an instant. I mean, we've seen Cory get wrestled by Dillashaw. Even Song Yadong was able to get moments on him in the wrestling. And look, it's the last leg. It's a huge favorite. You can really just hedge it and put on like $50 onto Sandhagen, and then you've covered yourself if you're really that scared of the leg. So it's the last fight of the night. Just hedge it if you're not that confident in Umar. But yeah, I do think he gets the win, and I just got no reason to doubt him. So you get plus 112 for that one. I will admit, not the most confident in this safety parlay, nowhere near I was last week, but I still do think it hits. And yeah, we'll go from there. If it doesn't hit, oh well, we'll still hit a large percentage of our safety parlays, but I still think this hits, so don't be worried too much. Let's go into the straights. Okay, I'm blowing my nose, so hopefully I'm less nasally now. But onto the straights and props. So the first one is Dumas KO sub, and that's more of a fade on Dennis Julian than it is on Dumas's finishing instinct or skill set, to be honest. And it's just, Dennis sucks on the feet, he sucks on the ground, he's just not very good of a fighter. His record indicates that, and his performances indicate that as well. I mean, you've seen him dominate on the ground so many times, and we've seen Dumas be able to get the fights to the ground. You saw it in the Brundage fight, you saw it in the Abu Dhabi fight, and I just think Dennis, if he gets to the ground, he's going to give his back up, or show his back or expose it, and Dumas is going to be able to latch up like a basic rear naked choke or something like that. Even on the feet, I think Dumas has potential to KO Chulin. We've seen Chulin hurt on the feet many of times, like that Duncan fight recently. And yeah, it's just more so Dennis giving the fight to Dumas than Dumas actually having instinct. So yeah, I was so close to putting Dumas in my safety parlay, but you know, we've seen the friend fight before. We heard the rumblings about how he got paid off for that fight to lose it, and you just never know. It's in Abu Dhabi, you know, Abu Dhabi has a lot of money there, and you just never know. You never know. I'm not playing into a narrative, but catch my drift. You catch what I'm saying. You just got to be a little bit careful. So I'd rather just play it straight rather than put him in our safety parlay. Next up, we got Fernandez, KO sub, and Fernandez is just a very volatile fighter in terms of he is good on the feet, good on the ground, and he just goes for the finishes, and you see that in all of his fights. Yaya, we've seen him hurt before many of times, even pre-UFC. He's just very exposable, if you know what I'm saying. And I just think Fernandez, he should be able to finish a fighter like Yaya. I don't think Yaya is that good of a fighter. I said in my prediction, he only wins fights when his opponents tire, and he could win this fight if Fernandez tires, but I think he's going to find that KO or sub before that even happens. So I like Fernandez here to get the KO sub. Minus 220 is a bit steep, but it could be a nice parlay piece for put into thing and get Fernandez off that huge like minus 400 or 500 price line that he's at the moment. Next up, we have Alvarez and Brenner. Fight doesn't go the distance at minus 222. I think it's a really good parlay piece, or you can play it straight if you want to. It's a bit juiced, but out of 43 fights between them, only 7 have gone to decision. And Alvarez has only been into the 3rd round twice in his career, and one of them was like many years ago. So Alvarez is kind of like a do or die fighter, and Brenner is, you know, you could say the same for him. Brenner gets hurt in his fights as well, but he always comes back and he always puts it on his opponents. You know, you saw that in the Guram fight and whatnot. So I think either Alvarez finds that finish in the 1st round, or Brenner takes over and finishes Alvarez in the 2nd or 3rd round. And I think it's pretty simple like that. I mean, you know, you might be scared that Brenner can take it all, but you know, Alvarez does pack a punch. He's huge for the division, and yeah, but I see more so Brenner finding the finish. We'll get to that in a second. But, you know, fight doesn't go the distance is a good piece here at minus 222. Finally, we've got Azamat KO plus 145. Like I said, I just don't really rate what's his name now? I've gone blank. Menafield. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really sick at the moment. I don't really rate Menafield at all. Azamat, you know, he's got a 9 out of his, I believe it is 13 victories by KO. I think that makes his 10th KO, really. We've seen Menafield hurt before. In the Jacoby fight, he got hurt. OSP knocked him out. Olberg just knocked him out just recently. That was actually very recent, which is a bit scary for him. I think Azamat just has all the tools on the feet to be the more technical fighter and the more powerful fighter and just find the chin of Menafield. So I think he gets that KO in the 1st round, and I like it at a nice plus money line. Alrighty. On to the Nibblers, and there's a few that I like here. So we'll go from the first one, which is Bedoya to get the KO at plus 450. I really like him coming down from 170. I mean, if he was able to hurt people at 170, I think he's definitely going to be able to hurt people at lightweight. We've seen Herbert hurt before. You know, Trinaldo knocked him out, Topuria knocked him out. He's a bit chinny. He's definitely relying on that clinch game as his career's gone on and his age has gone up. And I just think Bedoya, if you look on Instagram, Bedoya is in the best shape of his life. And I think he's going to swing and not be scared of anything that Herbert throws at him. And I think he has the potential to get the KO, and at plus 450, why not? Brando round 2 or 3 at plus 700. Man, I really think this is very live, and at this number, I think it's crazy. Like I said, Alvarez has only been to the 3rd round twice in his career. Brenner, how many times does he come back and just, you know, even if he doesn't get it, put it on his opponents in the 2nd and 3rd round? You saw it in the Oralby fight. Oralby was dominating that fight, but as the rounds went on, Brenner kept himself into the fight, hurt Oralby a few times, and, you know, if Oralby just wasn't that much of a beast, probably would have found the finish. Saw it in the Guram fight as well. Brenner was down on the scorecards, gets that 3rd round knockout. He is a dog. And if Alvarez doesn't get him out in the 1st round, I really think Brenner's going to find that finish in the 2nd or 3rd round. So I like the plus 700 price tag on that a lot. 3rd one, Loopy by KO. A little bit less of a confidence on this one. You know, Nibblers aren't supposed to be high confidence or medium confidence at all. It's just something that you see the good plus money. So, you know, we've seen Dern have no striking defense. Even as her career's gone on, we've hoped that she could have improved that aspect of her game. But you saw in the Lemos fight and Draj fight, she's just there to get hit. Loopy does have good boxing. I don't think she has that much KO power, which is why I'm a bit hesitant on this one. But, you know, Dern leaves herself open to hit, and she is a dog. She will come through. But if, you know, if the punches accumulate and she can't get those takedowns, because Loopy has really good takedown defense as a wrestler herself, I can see Loopy getting that standing KO. And at plus 1600, you have to take it. Just chuck $5 on this one, and you can get yourself, you know, a good chunk of money back. Vera KO plus 400. I mean, this is going to be Figgy's hardest hitting opponent that he's ever fought. You know, we've seen Figgy hurt by Cody Garbrandt in that fight. We saw Figgy hurt in the Moreno fight. Vera is, you know, one of the hardest hitters in that division. And I just think he's going to have an opportunity over 3 rounds to find that KO blow by a body shot or by a punch to the head or kick to the head or whatever he wants. So I think plus 400 in one of his... I think this is probably one of his only routes to victory. I don't think he's in a decision that often. I mean, I think he can, but I think the KO is more likely in this scenario. And at plus 400, you got to take it. And I definitely will be taking it. And the last one is just for the culture. I hope this happens. Ferguson by sub. I mean, how many times have we seen Chiesa lose by Das or Bravo, whatever you want to call it? And what is Ferguson's best choke? It's the Das choke. It's the Das night. And you know, he's 40 years old. I don't really there's a high likelihood of this happening, but you got to play it. It's for the culture, like I said. And he's been talking about it in interviews as well. He's been saying, you know, Chiesa's going to get tired, he's going to shoot, and he's going to choke him. I pray to God that Ferguson does choke him and gets that submission, and I hope so, just for old time's sake, and hopefully he can go off with a victory into the sunset and be one of the best lightweight fighters to ever grace the land. This video has been a disaster. I'm so sorry, guys. I am sick as a dog, and yeah, you're probably sick of hearing my nasally voice. But yeah, that's my best bets for this card. Like I said, always do your own research. Let me know if you want to do a $10,000 to $10,000 challenges, because, you know, we've been killing the safety parlays. So what a 10 to 10,000 challenge is, you know, all my safety parlays are plus money. So I would go 10 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 80, 80 to 160, etc., until we hit 10,000. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do that. I might start that next card if we get enough, you know, positives on that. And yeah, that wraps it up. Catch you later. Ciao. Have a good night. Enjoy the fights.